48 is, we're going to learn how to take this and make it into a percent. Okay, now first of all, what's the easiest form to make into a percent? What's the easiest fraction form?
10, like
100, okay? Because remember, percent means per 100, right? Everybody remember that percent means per 100? Per 100? Okay, how do I get my 10 to 100?
you multiply.
I multiply it
10
by 10. And when I multiplied this by 10, it gave me what I needed to be on the bottom of a percent, right? Does everybody see what I need? I need 100 to be on the bottom of a fraction for it to be a percent. Okay? So I'm going to multiply this 10 times 10 to get 100. So what I do to the bottom, I'm going to do to the top. And 7 times 10 is 70. So 70 over 100, I now have it in percent form as a fraction. So what percent is this? 70%. So 7/10 is what really? 70%. Does everybody get how we did that? Okay. Another way you can do this, and this is just as easy, is I can just take my fraction 7/10, 7/10, and multiply it by 100%. Okay? And what I would do here is I would go, of course we're going to put 100 over 1. 7 times 10 is 700. 10 times 1 is 10. When I cross out my zeros, I get 70 over 1, which is 70. And so then, well, I still have my percent here, so I'm just going to move it over and have my percent there. You can do it however you like, but to make a percent into a percent, you can actually just multiply it by 100. Okay? You may like that better. Try this one. This one's not as easy to do the first way that I showed you because it's not a multiple of 10. Okay? So on this one, you're going to have to go 2/3 times 100%. Okay? So I would have ended up gotten 200 over 3%. And 200 over 3 becomes, once I did that, I would get 66 and 2/3% as my final answer. Okay? Everybody feel like you understand? It's really quite simple. You just need to know in order to make it into a percent, you're going to multiply it by 100%. Okay? If you need to write that down, when making a fraction into a percent, I can multiply it by 100%. Write that down if you want to. Okay. So, let's look at, if I were to tell you to write this as a percent, there are two things that we can do. Does anybody know one of them? Yes.
Make it into a fraction, which would be 8/10 and then multiply.
Yeah. Okay. 0.8 is actually what? 8/10. Is that right? Because this is my 10th spot. 8/10. And then I can put 100 on the bottom. So I'm going to do it the first way I did it, which gave me 80. So 80 over 100 is 80%. Or I could actually do it way easier and go times 100%. And guess what happens? We're doing the same method we did a while ago. When I multiply something by 100, how many times can I move my decimal? Twice to the right because it's multiplication. So what I could do is go 0.8, and I've got 2 zeros, so I'm going to go 1, 2. Okay? So what does it end up giving us? 80, which is 80%. Very good. So basically, you're just going to multiply by a percent whenever you need a percent. Okay? Multiply by 100%. All right. This is something you're going to see for the next 3 years in Saxon Math. Okay? This next thing. You're going to see a table, and the table is going to look like this. There's going to be 3 portions to it for you to fill out. The first one says fraction, so I'm just going to put an F.
We did this last year.
Did you? D is for decimal, and P is for percent. It may even help you to do that. That kind of helps me to see what I'm supposed to be doing. Fraction, decimal, percent. Okay? And then they'll give you these certain numbers and you'll have to try to figure out the rest.
Oh, I hate this.
So if I have a 1/3
Oh, I
here,
hate these. Oh my gosh.
a 1.5 here,
These aren't this that
and a 60% here. Let's start with this first one because what they're wanting us to do is to figure out what this answer is and what this answer is. Everything's in rows. So we figure out the first row, we figure out the second row, we figure out the third row based on what they give us. Okay? So if the fraction is 1/3, how do I make that into a decimal? Yes.
multiply by 100 and then like turn the fraction.
You could do that. Okay? So she's saying, let's take it and make it into a percent first. Is that what you're telling me to do?
Well, like,
What are you telling me to do?
yeah, I guess so. No.
Okay? I'm going to show you another way because we can do that one in just a minute. I want to teach you something. This actually says 1 divided by 3. Right? So that's what we're going to do. 1 divided by 3. Okay? What's at the end of every number? A decimal. Okay? I'm going to go in and add my 0. 3 goes into 10 how many times? 3 times. And what do you find that happens?
It just goes 3, 3, 3.
Yes, it's going to keep doing 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So, 0.3, I'm going to move my decimal up. 0.3333333 becomes?
0.3 with a rectangle.
Very good. Okay? Now, how do I make that into a percent?
33 and 1/3%.
Times, say that again.
33 and 1/3%.
Yes, but how?
Oh, multiply 1/3 times 100.
Okay, you can do either one of these. You can do this one times 100 or this one times 100. Because this is a repetition, let's kind of stay away from those. Let's do this 1/3. So I'm going to go 1/3 times 100%. Because percents, you can always multiply by 100 to get your answer. So 100 is going to be 100 over 1. 1 times 100 is 100. 3 times 1 is 3. And when I end up dividing that, 100 over 3%, I end up getting just what she said. Bring my 1 up, bring my 3 over. 33 1/3%. All right. 33 1/3%. All right, this one, it's in decimal form. Let's go on and make it into a fraction. Yes, Lane?
Fraction is 1.5 and percent.
Okay, time out, time out. How did you get it?
Had the 1 right. I knew that was a whole number, so I put that. And then a 0.5 always.
Okay, so if you don't know that, let me show you this. The 1 is our whole number. Anything after my decimal is my fraction. And what place is this in? Tenths. So I'm going to say 5/10. Okay, but will that reduce?
Yes.
Yes, it will. It will reduce to what?
1/2.
1/2. So my fraction answer is 1 1/2. Okay, but how do I make this into a percentage?
150%.
Yes, but how do I do it?
1.5.
I would take 1.5 because I'm not dealing with a repetition, so it makes it easier. 1.5 times 100%. And what do we do when we have 2 zeros? Move your decimal places to the right because we're multiplying. So 1.5 becomes 1, 2 becomes 150, right? Percent. Everybody understand? All right. 60%. What's the easiest way to do this one?
The decimal first.
Okay.
Like,
To me, I think the fraction's easier because I know this
Okay.
means per 100. So 60 over 100 is what that is. But then I reduce.
6/10.
6/10 reduces to
3/5.
3/5. Now, how do I make this into a decimal?
Multiply.
0.60.
Yes, it is.
Because the 0 after the 6.
Yes, very good. Okay. There are 2 ways you can do this. You can know that 60% is really 0.60, because we're going to move the decimal places 2 places back. Okay, but if you don't just automatically know that, then here's what you can do. 3 divided by 5. And when you work it, you would realize that it's 0.6 or 0.60. Okay? Remember, zeros don't matter at the end of a number. I could add 100 of them. It'd be the same thing. Got it? All right, that's lesson 48. And it's